Good morning. My name is Caitlin. I don't know when it's not going to get weird for me. I've been saying this for several episodes. It's less and less weird, I guess, to say my name out loud. But I hope you're having a good day. I am very tired today. Last night was kind of hectic for me. I did some things that I have not done in months. And I used to do all the time when I was self-medicating with medical cannabis. But if you've listened to any other episodes about that or where I've mentioned it, you'd know that I haven't done that in probably like 6 months. And so it's just really hard for me to push through things anymore. Like, push myself past where I really should be pushing myself. It's hard for me to do that because I can actually feel when I am pushing too far. So it's a good thing, but it means that, like, the activity I did last night wore me out to the point where today I'm paying for it. There were a few different things that happened yesterday. One, I had a tour at work, so it's like office space, so it was like walking them around, showing them the space, telling them, a little bit more information, because I'd already talked to this person for like 15 minutes on the phone and given them like the majority of the information the day before. But just like reiterating some things and showing them around and answering whatever questions they had. Trying to sell the space, obviously. So it went well. I mean, they decided to go home and think about it. So, but it wasn't a bad tour at all. And, I followed up with them afterwards and it should be fine. Like, I hope they come in again, to test it out for the day and see how they like it. So I think it went well, but that's like draining for me to be like, I forgot a couple of things during the tour and I like just couldn't get it. Couldn't get it back, and I had to like go check where the office was that I was showing them because I looked at it, forgot what the number was by the time I walked over there, and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Like, why is this a problem for me? Like, I said it out loud, I knew that it was, still forgot it. I don't know what more I can do other than writing it down, which I guess I'll have to do. Seems silly, but I guess I'll have to write it down on a sticky note real fast to go show them, because I'm not doing that again. I really don't want to leave a bad impression. And then there were a couple of things that like I just didn't have the answers for, which is fine. I'm always like, oh, I'll ask. So thankfully there was somebody I could ask that was right there, nearby. So it's fine. But I'm still a little bit newer to this. So it's just kind of getting my script down in my head of what I'm supposed to say and how I'm supposed to say it and how I'm supposed to respond. And it takes a lot of energy. And then later on in the day, one of our members here was just very chatty, like the whole day. But then later on in the day, we were having a conversation. We had multiple conversations throughout the day, but like, they were not short conversations. And I'd never talked to this person before, really. And it's not that I didn't enjoy talking to them. But my coworker says something to me after he walks away or leaves or whatever, and was like, "Oh, look at you being social today." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sleep really well tonight." And she just laughs, but I'm like, "For real, like this, I'm like this is going to exhaust me." I don't notice it immediately usually, depending on the conversation, but I feel it later. And so I was kind of already going into my evening with those two things already having happened. And so I had to go to the grocery store in order to make dinner. And normally I don't have to do that. Normally I buy everything that we need on the weekend, and then I don't have to go to the store throughout the week because, again, I don't get home till really late. So I didn't get home until 7, I think. From now, really late is late for me because I go to bed at 9. I'll preface that. I didn't get home until 7 with the salad ingredients because you can't really buy salad ingredients ahead of time, and also we didn't plan for that. I didn't know. Again, still working on the how to meal plan that's actually going to work for everyone. It's hard when you've got 4 to 5 people involved in the meals and it's not just like 1 or 2 people that you're planning for. It can just really be it's a lot of factors. So I went to the store, got the salad stuff. We were making chicken Caesar salad, and so I had been thawing out the chicken from the day before because I mentioned in a different episode that I did not thaw the chicken out. Well, I totally forgot to text my family, even though I mentioned it on the podcast. Totally forgot. On my way home, I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to do something else because that's the when I remembered that it was still frozen. So we had to pivot, and we ended up eating out that night because I was exhausted. We were both exhausted. My partner's been working 12-hour shifts in the freezing cold, and poor thing, just not great. So we had chicken Caesar salad last night, so that means I needed a baguette and some, Parmesan cheese, and I got some anchovies and some regular, just store-bought Caesar dressing, because I prefer to make my own, but I just decided I don't have enough time or energy to do that, so I just, chopped up the anchovies and mashed them up and mixed it in with the dressing and crushed up some black peppercorns and mixed it in with the dressing, and a little bit of lemon juice, so that it was like a doctored up, better version. It was really good. I know some people are like, ew, anchovies, but you mix it in and make sure that you can't really, the texture isn't there, and it's pretty good. I prefer it to be homemade, but that's as close as I was gonna get, and it was pretty good. I made some croutons with part of the baguette, and then we just had the rest to eat with it, but I grabbed some herb marinade thing. It's actually really good, and I've used it before for chicken. It's just easy. And I didn't have time to do any prep stuff, I was getting home at 7, and we normally eat at 7:30, and that wasn't gonna happen, so it ended up not being till 8:15 that the dinner was ready, and we go to bed at 9, so it was not, yeah. But I had an entire gallon freezer bag full of chicken thighs that I was cooking. So barely fit in the pan. They took 30 minutes to cook because of how many were in there. Turned out good. It was good. But it just took too much time, Obviously I had to chop up all of the salad stuff, which it's Caesar salad, so it was just lettuce. Um, but so my partner was like, I gotta go take a shower. So they showered while I was cooking. And my mom had just had to go back in for surgery post double mastectomy with flap reconstruction, which nobody's gonna know what that is unless you've had someone go through it in your life. But basically, she's got 3 large incisions right now. And the one wasn't healing properly. So they had to go back in, clean it out, and so hopefully it will heal properly now. So she was in doing that yesterday, and it was an outpatient thing, so she came home afterwards, but it was just, that everybody at my house was really tired and exhausted from the day, and so it was just me, like, jumping straight into cooking as soon as I got home. And so, like, not only did I have to go to the grocery store, which normally is really taxing for me, and that's why I try to do it all in one go. Thankfully, I had my glasses and earplugs and everything all set. I did something I've never done before and broke the rules a little bit. Nobody even said anything to me, but there was a long line at the grocery store, and for some reason they never have, like, so after a certain time they like close. Oh no. Haha, the light. 1 second. They're motion sensor lights, and I hate putting on the one that's in this little thing, so I have to like go do this outside. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, it's already like really taxing for me to go to the grocery store. And there's a really long line, and they never have the self-checkouts open at night because they only decide to like have one employee working at night. I don't know why. It's like really ridiculous to me. So they had one lane open, and it's a really long line, and I'm standing here like juggling, holding all of these things because I didn't want to get a cart because I was like, oh, I'm just grabbing a few things, and then ends up being a few too many things. So I've got like salad dressing sticking out of my pocket because I can't hold it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. So I just go around the little barrier and go to the self-checkout. What are they gonna do? They're open. Nobody said anything to me. I paid for everything. It's not like I stole something. Like I just bought my stuff and left. I was like, I can't do this. I need to get home. This is ridiculous. So, anyways, I did that. Then, I got home and I did change into some comfy, my little Nightmare Before Christmas, like overall onesie sort of thing. It's very soft. And I needed to put on compression socks because, oh my god, yesterday my knees were killing me, so I had to put my knee braces on, but before I put my socks on, I put my pants on yesterday and was like, well, I can't put my compression socks on now because my pants are too tight that I can't pull them up over my knees to put my socks on. So I was like, fine, I'm just gonna wear my ankle socks today. And I regretted that later on because I was wearing the knee braces and that started making the blood pool in my calves, and oh my god, it was so painful. I was just uncomfortable all day. Which made the tour more challenging. It was, yeah. Ugh. So today, I was like, I'm not doing that. So last night I put on the compression socks after I got home because I was just in too much pain to think about standing up in the kitchen for another hour. And so when I used to self-medicate, it wasn't that hard for me to it's not like it wasn't hard. I would come home and just jump straight into cooking all the time from work. But that's because I had something to take that discomfort away to an extent or distract me from it and, increase my brain's dopamine levels that I had some motivation to keep going. So without that, I was able to do it, but I was so exhausted afterwards, and I was pretty nonverbal for the evening. Like, I just didn't talk. I just couldn't get words out. I didn't want to talk. There was, multiple factors. It was just, leave me alone. Let me make the food. This is gonna be better. Me trying to force myself to talk here is not gonna help anybody. So let's just not. So it was a night. I have lunch though for today because again there was so much chicken and now I have plenty of leftovers of that. I tend to order this kids meal, grilled chicken and salad from down the street here anyways, so it's pretty much my lunch, my normal lunch. But I just don't have to pay for it again. So I was like, I can't. Today, this morning, I was so tired. My partner had to get up at 4 again. I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I could barely open my eyes when they got up. It was bad. So of course they're up getting ready, leaving, and they're gone by 4:30. So 4:30, I'm like, I can't. It's not a shower day. I'm going back to bed till 5:30. That's just, how it's gonna have to be. And even then, I did not want to get up. I've heavily considered staying in bed even longer and foregoing the podcast and other things. I was just like, I'm so exhausted. I don't even know if I can get up right now. Which is a lot because I am normally quite tired anyways, but I wasn't sure I was going to be able to. I was able to. It took me a minute, but I was able to. So I was like, I can't buy lunch that I have at home. It's literally the same thing. I can't buy that out today. So I did get up and prep my lunch, which I could have done last night because I did prep my partner's lunch last night, but I totally didn't think about it till I was already most of the way done, and I was like, whatever. It's fine. So, had to do that this morning. But that's really all I did. I got up, went to the bathroom, and sat on my phone for a while, and I brushed my teeth, the normal routine things that I have finally been able to do now that I'm taking care of my mental health and allowing myself to accommodate myself in other ways so that I have the mental capacity to do those things. So, yeah, it was just an exhausting evening, and so I realized how much why I kept ending up in burnout, because I just kept doing that over and over and over again. Now, my work schedule used to be different. When I would do this, I would get off it was like, it wasn't terribly different, I guess. I think I got off at like 3 or 4 most days, wherever I worked before. But then I took a long break from working full time too, so several months there where I wasn't working full time. So I was able to do more of the cooking and shopping. I combined those words together. Oh my god, my humor is of a teenage boy. Oh well. I am so tired. I'm probably gonna get off of here, make myself my usual tea, and take some kratom because no, like I can't. I don't know. That's the only thing that I really feel comfortable taking for energy. Like caffeine doesn't really work for me. The most caffeine I can do is a black tea. So that's what I'm doing. And normally when I make a cup of black tea, I'll drink that. And then I'll just like keep adding hot water and do that like 2 more times. So I make like 3 cups of tea with 1 tea bag because, I mean, especially if it's like flavored or whatever, they tend to last a while. Like you can make a few cups of tea from the same tea bag and that way I'm not really getting that same like amount of caffeine over and over again. It's kind of diluting over time, and I'm only getting a little bit the second and third time. So yeah. Anyways, I like caffeine doesn't really work for me, and like I'm not gonna start taking stimulants. I'm really just afraid of most medications in general, and the only reason why, like, I watched an entire, like, TV series. I listened to a podcast dedicated to, a couple of podcasts dedicated to it. I listened to different podcast episodes on it, watched educational videos, did my own research on kratom before using it, and what I am using is just essentially tea tablets. So it's just the leaves ground up and pressed into a tablet. Nothing added, nothing extracted, just pure plant. Because I really don't want to use medications, and I prefer to use herbal supplements, and I had already mentioned before that like I use a very small amount, like usually a quarter of what the recommended serving size is on the bag, which is a relatively low serving size for typical like kratom users. So anyways, I use a very, very small amount. However, the smaller the amount you use, typically it means the more stimulating effect you get. And so some people who use it for chronic pain and who have greater pain than I do would use a lot more of it, and it could have a sedating effect. However, I've never used that much, and I don't plan to. If I'm in a lot of pain, I'll use that in combination with Tylenol, because I don't like the way it makes me feel if I take too much. I've taken a little bit too much before, and it makes me jittery and like anxious, and that's one of the things I'm trying to avoid in general. So, not gonna do that, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped using medical cannabis, was just because I felt like not only not only was I not able to really feel joy without it, because it was kind of replacing my body's natural production of dopamine because I was using it so frequently. But it was also it was making me more anxious than, I don't know, like, I've struggled with anxiety in the past. But since discovering that I'm autistic, I've been able to really shift my perspective on that completely and have not had a lot of anxiety. Um, but I was realizing that the cannabis was making me more anxious than I would be otherwise now that I have that information. Before that, it actually had been helpful to have the medical cannabis for anxiety because I didn't know what was happening, and it helped me kind of disconnect from constantly asking, why is this happening? It would increase my dopamine, and it would make me feel like, oh, it's okay, like, I don't need to have all the answers. I can just exist and be happy in however this is that I'm feeling and just keep doing what I'm doing. And that was useful for a time. Again, not sustainable. So it just helped me mask better. And so it needed to come to an end. Not saying I'll never use it again, but I know that I had mentioned on the last one or something that I just don't want to get back into the habit of using it all the time. So I'm not sure if I will or not, but so far there's only been a few days where I've really wanted to, and usually when I feel like I really want to use something, that means I really shouldn't. I also used to vape, like nicotine vape for a little while here and there. I had started and stopped and started and stopped, and that was just horrible. Like, honestly, no real benefit there at all. So, but same with that. I don't really crave that at all really anymore, but there were times when I would, and I would just be like, well, that means I really shouldn't use it. Like, that's another thing that, like, I just am never going to use that again because there's no benefit to it and it's really bad for you. Cannabis, on the other hand, I have a bit of a different opinion on. I think that it can be useful. It can be a fun thing too. That's, to me, safer than drinking. And I don't know. I enjoy it more than drinking usually, and so it's not saying that I'll never use it again, but just not in that capacity. And I think that unmasking is really, really important for me to learn how to live my life in a sustainable way for myself and others in my life. So today I'm gonna just try to not fall asleep, and hopefully it will be less busy and I can recover a little bit from yesterday. I have a performance review tomorrow, so that's gonna be fun, as well as my autism assessment results. I'm so excited. I'm choosing to be excited and not go down a spiral of what happens if I don't get it, because I really do think I'm going to. So I'm gonna just think about that and not think about the rest of the stuff. Oh my god, I'm gonna just take it. This is annoying. This is annoying me. I swear. It's never done that to me before. And now all of a sudden, I don't know. Anyways. So, we'll see how that goes. But my performance review, I was like, just messaged my manager and was like, here we go. I knew it. I'm getting fired. And they were like, oh, like, you're doing well. I was like, okay, cool. But also, I know that I did say, like, this schedule is been really challenging for me. So I know that there are probably things that I'm not 100% on. I'm not 100%. How am I supposed to do everything at 100% when I'm not ever at 100%? So we'll see how it goes. I really don't know what it's going to be like at all. So who knows? We'll just, I don't know. I'm not really nervous. I'm not too nervous about it. I'm just more like, I don't like not knowing what's going to happen. I like to be able to prepare and plan, and yeah, I don't know. There is someone here. Normally there's nobody here this early, but that's fine. But yeah, I don't really know what to do about that. Like, there's really nothing I can't. I'm like 99% sure there's no option for me to only work 4 days a week. So, there's really no way for me to make this better than it is. Like, this is how it's gonna be. So, I don't know. I'll bring it up. I'll talk to them. I mean, I mentioned it in my hiring stuff, so like they know how I feel. I'll just reiterate that that's not changed. And I still feel that way, and I still really, really don't want to burn out and have to quit this job. So, especially because two of their employees, one of them's going on maternity leave, and the other one is changing to a different role. So they're going to be down to the bare minimum employees for the roles that we have here. So they can't really afford for me to leave. I mean, like, they'd make it work, but no. Like, they can't really afford for me to leave. So, I don't know. I'll just be transparent and hope that that is okay. Thankfully, they tend to be pretty cool and understanding. I feel chubby today. Like, my face looks puffy. But I don't know. I'm losing words. So I think I'm gonna go talk to your ear off. As always, that's what you're here for. And I will have more themed episodes coming up. I know I had mentioned one that's on a very sensitive topic related to autism. And so I think about it all the time. When do I want to do that episode? I don't know yet, because it's a really tough topic for me. It's affected my family and myself really greatly, and I know that if I think about it in the morning during the podcast, I'm going to be thinking about it the rest of the day too, and I really don't want to be thinking about that topic all day, like trying to get work done and then thinking about death and dying, and no, I don't want to think about that while I'm working if I can help it. I know there was one day where like that was pretty much all I did because I was doing research, but now that that research itch has been scratched, I don't really want to. I don't know. I just had a little bit of like anxiety around what if the rest of my day kind of sucks because I start my day off like that. And then being at work and just having other things that are difficult. Like maybe I'll do it on a weekend if I have time, or do it in the evening sometime if I have time. I don't know. I definitely want to do it. have a hard time thinking of other topics because that one keeps popping into my head. So I need to get it done. But we'll see when that happens. There's always good topics to talk about. If anybody has any suggestions or things that you want to hear my opinions on, or how, you know, or if I've done research on them, because I may have done research on it already, feel free to let me know. I could use a little help on some of the themed episodes, but then, there are a lot of times it's just going to be me talking about life, because that's what it's about. Gonna hop off here, but I hope that you guys have a good day, and that you remember you are enough.